Damn, you switch pod. The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
Oh, Koda's, I'm just tired. You know.
Like Andre Pollard. Isn't that was the excuse today? The excuse today, Tony Brown coming in saying Polly Zoya, he was a bit tired. That's why the kicks didn't go through in the end.
Yeah, no, but no, look, other than that, I'm just taking a jab. I'm good, Koda's. I'm glad we got the W.
Yeah.
The dynasty's loading. The
The
dynasty's
job's the
loading.
job's not done though. The job's not done, but yeah, we're here to discuss it further. The Dan Carters of podcasting here to
Yes,
give you
sir.
some rugby opinions, some rugby takes, and go over the Bok game. Isn't it was said to be the match about who's the best team in the world. I mean, but there's still some people that are gonna say it's Ireland.
Yeah, but look, I think we saw. I mean, the result says it all. And the performance from the box.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's maybe now it's settled that, even if let's say Ireland had to come back and get a win, which I don't
Yeah.
think it will see in Durban. But
Let's
look,
actually start there because you've got an Irish team that's the walking wounded, the battered and the bruised, and
mm,
then obviously lineups aren't out for them yet, but for the Boks they are. Unchanged team.
yeah, mm,
Personally, I would have liked to see maybe Russ is always going to back his guys. He's always going to give guys second
yeah,
chances. It's
yeah,
not that type of a team. I mean, even with Tony Brown coming out and saying that Pollard was tired, he's sheltering him a bit from a bit of the criticism, and he's backing his guys. Even to Elendi talking him up with the passing. So they've gone with the same team. I expected that.
yeah,
What I
yeah,
did
yeah,
expect was maybe one or two changes on the bench.
yeah,
If
yeah,
Pollard was tired, why not put in Amani to
yeah,
continue? Unless they're trying to get him to maybe get some legs, maybe go again, try and build your
yeah.
fitness up. So I would have thought of Ruiz maybe. I'm not
Mm,
one that is too critical of Quagga. I know there's some people
yeah,
that were calling for him to be dropped. They prefer him in a bench role. They prefer maybe Ruiz to start. I know he did drop one or two restarts from goal line and from kickoff. But I mean,
yeah.
it comes with him as a player. So I'm not necessarily too upset with that. How do you feel about the
Yeah.
unchanged team?
Yeah, look, I'm not too upset about the unchanged team. I think, that continuity. And personally, from my view, I think as much as yes, we got the result, I think the coaches are not entirely happy in terms of conversion rate or execution, because Ireland deserved to be put away. So I think it's just it's another chance for these guys to,
Yeah,
to actually to set that right. And yeah, I agree with you there. I thought, changes on the bench. I was expecting maybe to see maybe a guy like Pepsi come in, maybe, from a loose forward perspective, and perhaps maybe a Mani on the bench, so that we can, drive that nail home from an attacking point of view
yeah.
with his skill set, but
Let's stay there for a while. You talk about skill
yeah,
set. You
mm,
saw early on, it's now the Tony Brown show in terms of attack. And for the first try, I think Ireland were even a bit stunned where we pulled them wide one way and then another way.
yeah,
We can defend Pollard and so on and so forth, but we all know Mani is basically the best guy for this type of game plan.
yeah. I think so. I really agree with that, and I'll tell you why I say that. If you look at the way, like even though that's the first try and how the Boks really had, Peter Steff out in the trams, Sia on the trams, it's actually nothing new. If
Yeah,
you really look at it, they've done it. They've been playing in that fashion. A lot of the times you'll see Sia popping up there on the trams. This time around, you saw it was also a sort of a dual threat on the left and the right with Peter Steff on the right, but if you go back, I think it was Italy 2022 before the World Cup. I think, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, you saw a similar type of pattern, a similar type of pattern of play. And and Mane was playing that
Yeah.
game, you know, and Mane was playing that game, and I think we put like 60 on them, you know, so that attacking impetus that he brings, I think, yeah, in terms of the way, if that's how, the approach, you know, and how they want to play, I was thinking about it and thinking, look, it opens up a window of opportunity for a lot of players in terms of different skill sets, you know, a different type of attacking
Yeah.
player. You know what I mean?
And
That's what I was
who's
thinking
the other
about.
player that comes to mind? Lucanio Am. He's the
Yeah,
other player that comes to mind in that sort
he
of thing.
does. He does. Look, as much as look, don't get me wrong. Jesse Krill had a stellar game. You know,
Yeah.
and you can see now the shift in the focus. You know, with the 13, you know, more being that sort of second receiver, and setting it up. You know, the different running line. You know, attacking, forcing the
Yeah.
defense to stay sort of tighter, attacking that channel to open up both the left and the right hand side of the field. I think look, he had a good game, but when you're talking about that skill set that you're looking at, yeah, you think of a guy like Lucanio to be honest, you know, in terms of the way that they
Yeah.
want to play.
Jesse Creel
Yeah,
Jesse Creel is without a doubt the on form player
yeah,
in
no,
that
he
13,
is.
and he deserves to be there in
Yeah,
13, and he
yeah,
deserves to retain his position there. But facts are facts in that he is limited on attack.
yeah.
And it did go well in terms of the opening try and that, but I felt like there were also more opportunities where someone that was
Mm,
maybe better on attack would have put the wings in a better position. So
yeah,
it's not to knock the guy. There's just limits that you have as a player.
yeah.
It's the same thing like how people will say so and so is not good at defense, or we mustn't choose him, or so and so is not at
Mm,
this. And his we just have to come to to deal with the fact that Creel, his limitations are on attack and his
yeah,
positives are outweighing his defense, and his the positives there are outweighing
yeah.
attack.
Greatly outweighing. Yeah, and not to say that his attacky look, not to say that his attack is bad, but there's another level
Yeah.
that we can get to. You can see there is that next level, you know, it just off ramping a little bit, you know, just as an example of what I'm talking about, you know. Watching the Currie Cup, you saw a guy like, for example, Diego Pollard at 13 for the Sharks. You know, there's a try that they scored, which is a sort of a similar running line, but because of his skill set, the adjustments that he's able to make with ball in hand, running through those gaps and getting that pass out, you know,
Yeah.
that's what made me think of the
Yeah.
opportunities for other players that, you know,
Creel,
if this is,
Creel, as an outside center, you've played there
yeah,
before. Creel to me looks as though all he does is sort of go around, try and get to the outside and draw the outmost player.
yeah,
And when you look at other centers, they're gonna maybe manipulate that defender with footwork, or
yeah,
they're gonna shimmy, shake, do
mm,
something to try and put the defender to try and maybe think I'm gonna check inside, or what am I
yeah,
doing? With Creel,
yeah,
basically, he's just gonna try and get to your outside to try and commit you to put
yeah.
away the guy on the outside.
Yeah, or he's going to run a very hard straight line, you know, which he does. He
Yeah,
does very well, you know, which he does very well. So yeah, those little things, you know, that you see there, you know. So and that's why I say, you know, it opens up that window now, you know,
yeah,
for other players, you know, different skill set, different opportunities, you know. So yeah, you know, but overall, I think, you know, solid start, you know, to the 2 match series, you know, from the Boks. It definitely from in terms of intent, you know, 10 out of 10,
yeah,
I'll give them that. But for me personally, you know, in terms of overall, because of the lack of execution and conversion rate, you know, it's a generous 7, you know, from my side in terms of overall, and that's not a bad thing in my view.
yeah,
It's a good thing because why? I want that dynasty. You know, this is the time. There's no better time for the Boks now to start building that dynasty than now.
yeah,
You know, because they've got that, you know, that 20, the 2011 after the 2007 World Cup, they've got that 2011 Bok vibe where you can see there's control. They've got the control. You know, they know they're assured of what they're doing. They're assured of their positions. It's just a matter of execution. You know, so yeah, that's where I'm at, in terms of this past weekend.
Yeah, I agree 100%. For it to be 13-8 at halftime, Ireland did well to hang in, but the Boks,
Mm,
we had our foot on their chest, but we
yeah.
didn't, the first 30 we had
Mm,
all the territory. We should have been further away, whether that's
yeah.
due to Pollard's boot or just general execution,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, it was great, but we should have started to pull away. We shouldn't have been within one score.
No, we shouldn't have. We really shouldn't have, And look, at the same time, I'll say this. At the same time, yes, as much as like that opening try was a scintillating try, freaking
Yeah,
Kirkley Orense, you know, um, yeah, no, he is the one. He is that guy. That footwork is just it's unbelievable. But then when you look at the if you look, I had a chance to have a look at somebody who's doing an analysis on YouTube and stuff, and there was an element of luck to it, but you earn that. You earn that as
yeah,
that luck, because sometimes those sort of calls don't go our way, and there's a lot of calls that did go our way. And look, we'll take that, we won't complain, but that's not a Springbok problem, in a way it is, because there's certain elements where they can fix and they should do better. That's why I say, from the selection point of view, why they're going with continuity. But that's more a refereeing problem. It's not
yeah,
it's not really a Bok problem in that sense. If the refs aren't calling it, they're not. So you got to take advantage, and you give them credit for that, in that sense,
yeah,
but we need that ruthlessness back. We really need that ruthlessness, because you've got the physicality, you've got the X factor players that can cut teams apart. It's just now just putting that together on a consistent
yeah.
basis that I think that's what they need to strive to, to build that dynasty.
Yeah, just getting back to the performance. One more thing before we finish talking about this coming week. Pollard, he might not make the next World Cup. He might not
Yeah,
make the
look,
next World Cup. And it's almost like a foregone conclusion when you see Victor Matfield talking about other players not making the World Cup because of their age. But
yeah,
we're gonna start to maybe see Pollard. I don't know if he'll, because he is the most senior out of all the fly halves there.
yeah,
So it's almost
yeah,
like it's a foregone conclusion that he's gonna be there. But I think in reality, the one that they were talking about replacing Lobok, but maybe it's Pollard that's actually gonna be replaced. But
maybe.
yeah, maybe we'll see.
Look, sorry, carry on, Codus.
I mean, we'll see going forward how things are. If it is just the legs or whatever. The only thing is, again, there's always going to be that thing of, if it was Lubbock that missed those kicks, would he have
Yes,
also got given the thing of, no, he was just
about the
tired?
legs.
Would he
You
have just been
understand?
given the grace? Would he have just been given, that kind of
Yeah,
understanding? No, he
yeah.
wouldn't have been. He
Mm.
wouldn't have been.
And the thing is, we can't be saying, no, he's earned the grace. No, he's not earned the grace, because that game, the final scoreline was too close for comfort. You understand?
I believe, no, wait, I believe he's earned it, but I believe Mani
Yeah,
has also earned it. That's
yeah.
my issue, is that
Fair enough.
because he's also a World Cup winner. So
Fair
if we're gonna
enough.
have it
Yeah,
for him, we must also have it for
yeah,
him. So I'm not saying that he
yeah,
hasn't earned it. I believe he's earned it, but let's extend that grace all around then, not
yeah,
just for Pollard.
yeah. But here's my question. Had we lost, would we be extending grace? There's no extended
No,
grace.
no,
Yes, fine, we didn't lose, but the reality is that had we lost, there would be no grace being extended.
yeah,
Because the thing is that we expect, this is a high performance team, and we expect high performance results, high performance everything from these guys. They are our heroes, our supermans, our whatevers.
yeah,
So there wouldn't be that grace. That's why I say, the scoreline at the end was too close for comfort. For us to say no grace, no. Mm-mm. I don't agree with that. He's got to do better. And the thing is that we've
yeah,
seen this too many times. You know, we've seen it too many times.
yeah.
Let's. Be
If
honest.
we're being honest, Pollard in between World Cups, he's got a lot of average test matches, but it
Yeah,
gets painted over because he is Pollard and he has done those things on the world's
yeah.
biggest stage.
He's
So
that
it
guy.
is what it is. It is
Yeah.
what it is. But we must also tell the truth when it comes to average performances. That's that's
Yes.
that's my thing.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. At least let's, because you have to feel for a guy like Money, because I think in
Yeah.
that in this environment, I mean, when he came in last year, we saw what he did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the World Cup, we saw what he did. So yeah, yeah, that's my thing. Is we can't just throw that type of attack away, that type of number
Yeah.
10 away, just because there's some sentiment and things like that. But look, we could go on about this for hours.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, Sasha gets a bit more game time, but even him, to me, he's a 12, he's a 15. I don't see him operating in that
Yeah,
10 role. I like him joining the line, but alas, good
yeah,
performances from this week. Let's dig a bit deeper. Let's
yeah,
let's
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about moments and let's talk about performances. Good performances. I felt most of the starting lineup, even Kwaka, I'll say Pollard was the only one that to me was shaky. Dialendi, most passes in the
yeah.
game. Tony Brown came out and said he's the best passer in the team. I know Faf also gets a lot of criticism. I thought Faf did well. I just didn't
Yeah,
think
he
we were
did.
getting enough numbers to the breakdown, and it was causing
Yeah,
pressure on him. And we were
yeah,
living on a very fine line there where the ball, it's almost like when they caught on that we're only sending one or two guys into
yeah,
the rucks, three at most when it's an emergency. It's like they caught on late. And when they started attacking
yeah.
that, that's when the ball was a bit sloppy and that. But
Mm,
I felt Faf was good. I can't
yes.
complain. Even in terms of lineouts, it was good. In terms of scrums,
Yeah,
it was good. Um,
yeah.
Ireland, they were getting bailed out when it was their own ball. They were taking the hit. And then what was
Mm,
happening was once they took the hit, they weren't letting it stabilize so the ball could come in. So then the Boks were just
yeah,
getting penalized the whole time,
yeah.
which is clever. If you can't,
Yeah,
if you can't be stable on your own scrum, I suppose it's clever. But moving forward, I just think biggest concern is ball protection and the integration of
yeah.
the bomb squad, because the bomb squad came on and we didn't get the kind of momentum shift we would have liked.
Yeah, that it took a bit of time to get going, in terms of that. But and even from an overall perspective, it wasn't the same impact that you've seen before, which nullifies other people's arguments about safety and all of that.
Yeah,
Because I mean, if it was really so bad, then by that notion, Ireland should not have even had a look in, once the bomb squad came in. But the fact of the matter is that they still had they still had opportunities to potentially
yeah,
win that game, So that aside, yeah, bomb squad did well, but not it didn't shoot out the lights as they've previously done,
yeah.
But overall, yeah, like you say, everything basically worked well. Marks came back. I think he had a good return. I was more
Yeah, he
looking
was
at
way better
him.
than Wales. Yeah,
Yeah, way much better. Which for me, I think that it's good to have him back. We need a guy like that. Bongi, he just kept it up. The locks, they did their jobs. I think the guys from the bomb squad that came on, I won't lie. I know from my side, I've said about Murat and whatnot. But when I looked at that try that Ireland scored, when they played,
yeah,
when they played that attacking pod and they attacked, sort of, there was no connection on the defense of the Boks, and then you look at it from the reverse angle, you can see, there wasn't enough folding, and yeah, you look at there was no impact really from Murat. Guys like Steenkamp had an impact, Marks had an impact, Koch had an impact, because it's the front row. Okay, yes, fine, he was at lock with RG, part of the tight five that scrummed, cool. But other than that, everywhere else didn't really see him. You know what I mean?
that was a bit of a mess up there. They got the numbers wrong from the restarts, from
Yeah,
the goal line drop. They got the numbers
yeah,
wrong. But once the numbers are wrong, you have to identify it and do something about it.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
was between Steenekamp and
And
Murat
Murat.
to and Peter Steff, who was outside of Murat, to say,
Mm.
because there was a guy running a hard line, but Peter Steff was covering him. Murat was
Yes.
covering the scrum half. So maybe Peter Steff could have gone one over, and maybe he had a
Yeah.
better line of sight to see that there were
Yeah.
numbers. But Steenekamp, there were numbers in front of him. He was following the scrum half. Murat,
Yeah.
Murray, this guy,
I,
he's looking so. Video session, someone will get an earful. Someone will
you know,
get an
they got,
earful.
I think definitely got yesterday, got definitely a big earful. You know, if they didn't, then I'd be worried, you know, and that's, it goes back to that, what I was saying is that, you know, why it's an unchanged team, because there's things that they definitely
Yeah.
not happy about that they want to see, you know, improvements on, you know, it's like it's basically, it's a second chance. And I like that narrative for from my side, because we don't want to, like I said last week, we don't want to get too cocky or be too confident, you know. So we got to get those things right, you
And I'm
know.
sure all of those guys will be putting their hand up to say it was me, because it's not
Yeah.
a culture of pointing fingers. It's a culture of
Mm, mm,
accountability. So I'm sure
yeah.
there are guys that say, I could have done better in
Yeah.
this situation. I could have
That's what
done
you'd
better
want.
here. Yeah,
That's
and
what
that's
you'd
what you
want, you
want.
know.
But
You know,
Murat,
but
there is a bit of Muraticism. I won't lie. I still feel like yes, yes, at the scrums he did contribute, but
he did.
if if there's a passenger in this team, I
In
feel
the
like it's
pack.
him. You know, he hasn't had that impact necessarily. That, and I want the impact. I also want to see
Yeah,
this
we wanted
thing.
for him, but it's just not coming. You know what I mean? Because I mean, if you think about it, think this RG. You know, you can see that impact. You know, you got guys like John Clay. You know,
Yeah,
when he was in, you know, you can see that impact. Even it's a Beth, when he came onto the scene, you could see that impact. You know that I know, okay, but then the you know, this guy is just, look, he's got all the attributes, but it's just not,
to be
it's you
fair, I
know.
think he's just not adjusted to this level yet. But
Okay.
the problem is how long do you get to adjust?
Yeah.
Because certain players get a lot of time to adjust to Springbok
No, they
culture and
do.
Springbok level. Jesse
They
Creel
do.
had about 50 caps before he started playing well. So
Yeah.
there's guys that get time. As a lock in SA rugby, I don't think you're gonna get time.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not I hope he gets time to where he can give some impact, but
Yeah.
we need to see something. We hopefully we see something this next game.
Yeah, hopefully we do. You know, hopefully we do. But yeah, but look, but overall, you know, it's just in terms of the overall performance. There's a lot of things to like. You know, the just the attacking intent. I think they need
Yeah.
to fix a little things. You know, depth issues. You know, from just when you rewatch it, you can see like sort of depth and a little bit of alignment. If they can fix that, you know, in order to commit defenders better. You know, there's so much that they can
Yeah.
improve on, and that's what's scary, you know. And I think we've said this so many times about the Springboks, you know, that they the potential to be, you know, the most ruthless and the most aggressive team in the world is there. You know, they just need to just find that zone, you know, and look, I feel sorry for a lot of the teams once they do find that zone. You know, it's going to be difficult to really stop them. But once they get that alignment sorted out, and also getting
Yeah.
the right personnel, you know, I understand with the experience, you know, having the experienced guys there, but you know, I think I think going forward, you know, we should be seeing a lot of different pictures, you know, going into this next game. Yeah, I think there's still a lot more that we probably would have seen before, but not taken note of, you know. But like now this weekend, I know everybody's going crazy saying Tony Brown this, Tony Brown that. I don't, like I say, I don't think it's anything different, you know, to what the
Yeah.
Boks have in their arsenal. It's just that now they're doing it, and they're doing it with more confidence because, you know, they're double world champions. They got that experience, you know, and they're comfortable, you know, moving that ball around as opposed to just the strictly more kicking game and playing off turnover, whereas now they can
Yeah.
just launch, so those are the subtle differences, is that having the guts, to go at teams, because we got the weapons.
Even defensively for me, if you want to talk about new coaches, I was also impressed from a
Yeah,
defensive standpoint
yeah,
because I will give it to them in the first half. I felt the defense was good. The
yes.
try, the try that
The
that
the,
one
the
with the
fullback,
flick pass,
yeah.
that you can't defend against that. That's just a moment of magic where there's unfortunately there's nothing you can do about that. So
Mm,
I'm not
mm,
too hard on things like that. It's not
yeah.
a missed tackle, an easy line break, something that's
Mm.
just outstanding attack that there's no way you're going to be able to defend
They had
against
to
that.
work. They had to work for
Yeah.
it, and the fact that it was pushed over even into the corner, it tells
Yeah.
you. It tells you enough, and you saw even the cover defense was there. It was just a moment of brilliance. James Lowe. Just that New Zealand element, that
Yeah.
import element that helped them. Get that get that score. But
So I'm not too worried about that. I'll just say when the game starts getting loose, I think that's where,
mm,
and that again, I think goes to the integration of subs and whatnot. I think maybe just
yeah,
allows 20 to look at that defense where now it's a free for all. I think
yeah,
they'll be looking to tighten it up in those areas. But in terms of defensive structures and how it was early, I was happy
yeah,
with that as well. I was
yeah.
happy, but maybe
Same.
they'll also blame it on being tired. They'll say, "Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why it was
yeah,
a
no,
bit
they were
of
tired.
run and gun at the end."
With 6 new forwards. They were tired. They were tired, but that's the thing, and also just I think also just mitigating not even mitigating, but balancing, the attack and defense. You said, when it gets loose, just picking up on that is you saw with that James Lowe disallowed
Yeah,
that disallowed try, you know it was loose, and then the ball all of a sudden went out, and things like that they I think they'll look at, to try and remedy that and find a better alternative to say, okay, look, instead of trying to push that contact point or push the pressure point up wide, where they got exposed, if it wasn't for that TMO call, that's certainly a try islander back in the game. It's a different ending to the game, So just those little elements that I think that they'll be looking to sort of fix,
yeah,
and hopefully they can, and get it right in this coming weekend. And honestly, we need, for me, them to put the Irish team to the sword,
yeah,
in this second test, to really to underline, underpin, full stop, and all of those things that, this is South Africa, and we're the champions,
yeah.
basically.
The job's not done. And what's gonna
Mm-mm.
happen is James Lowe is gonna want a redemption story. Guys are
Yeah,
gonna want to rally. You've got guys on the outside of the squad that are gonna come
yeah,
in because of injuries, and they're gonna want to, break into the squad and say it
yeah,
should have been me in the first place.
yeah,
It should
yeah.
should have been me. So especially in the centers there with Henshaw out, but
And Green
we'll
Rose
see.
comes
We
in.
just we just have to put that foot when it's on their chest. We just need to make sure, and we need to build up a
Yeah,
good lead so that we're not in that jeopardy in the last 20 so minutes in the game.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I want to see. Is them, they must loot points when they can. They need to be like the real South Africans. When it's there, you gotta take all. Take all that's on offer, and really, like, and punish these guys, because honestly, when you rewatch, these guys were there for the taking. The way the
Yeah,
momentum. So that's why I say it's a generous 7 out of 10 for the Boks. Because I believe in this team that they can be so much better. And
yeah,
we got to set the standards high. And we can't be saying, no, 10 out of 10 performance. It wasn't. It really wasn't. So look, it's all to play for. Job's not done, like you said. So yeah, let's see who'll be tired this weekend.
Closing remarks, Chris.
I know. Look, I'm giving it Boks. I see at least 10 points, 12 points on it on Ireland. If they don't, you're on fraud watch. If
Yeah.
they don't, no, if they don't, they're at home. If they don't, then they're on fraud watch, basically.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing. Good starts in the beginning, the same
Yeah,
like it was this past weekend, and I think this time we will get into a good
the
lead in that
dynasty.
first half. Yeah,
This is the dynasty. Look, Coders, how long have we been calling for the Springbok dynasty, man? This is
it's
the time
coming.
now.
It's
This is
coming.
the time now. This is the dynasty time, where, we're setting the ledges straight, and making everybody know that, we're shutting everybody up,
Yeah, we're the best team in the world now.
Yeah.
Officially, one more game.
No, we're the
But I
best.
think,
We're
yeah.
Six Nations champs as well, yeah? By the way.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening.
We out. We out.